Talk Bowling, episode 118. I'm Dustin Seymour.
I'm Tony Rucco.
I'm Rich Karuba.
Talk Bowling is proud to bring you the latest information from the bowling industry, bowling tips, and updates from the world's largest bowling website, bowlingball.com. We're back 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later.
Same
yes.
clothes. We did this on
Just
purpose.
coincidence.
Yeah, it just happened that way. And we have Rich drive back from, Mississippi or where you at?
Yeah, wear the same clothes they told me.
Yeah, just wear the same clothes and drive 9 hours to come back.
Yeah.
Just for you.
And it was, it's worth it to be with these gentlemen.
He got Chinese food yesterday, so
He did.
that kind of paid it.
They're generous. Bowlingball.com is generous.
All right, so we've got Rich with us again. We're going to have Rich for a couple more episodes, and so we'll go right into questions from you guys.
We have a question from Facebook. This one comes from Bradley McKinnon. He says, "Hi, I am a 199 average bowler. I've averaged 199 for almost 2 years now. I hardly ever miss single pins or multi-pin spare combos. What can I do to raise my average to 200 plus? That extra pin."
Go for it.
Would you like me to tackle
I would
this one?
love for you to hit it because I have a feeling our answer is the same.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of different ways to approach this, Brad, if I may call you that, and any of you listening. You want to raise your average. You know you're a fairly good spare shooter. You're not creating a lot of open frames. The number one way to raise your average is to hit the pocket, increase your pocket hitting percentage. In order to do that, you've got to understand a little bit more about the lane patterns and how to match your bowling equipment up to it. Therefore, you've got to learn how to line up to hit the pocket, where the lane condition works with you instead of against you. And, of course, your physical game skills improve where you get a consistent release, consistent ball speed, consistent loft distance. And you notice consistently, I'm using the word consistent. Tony, it's so important to try to get a repetitive. You know, the bowling ball doesn't know your age, your gender, your strength level, or your knowledge of the game. It just reacts when it comes in contact with the lane surface by the way you release it, the speed, and the angle, your target angle. So one of the things you can do is work on hitting the pocket at a higher percentage and playing the lanes better.
Yeah, my answer was almost identical. A lot of times when I was giving lessons back in the day, or even when I was just bowling with my buddies, and they would tell me I'm pounding the pocket and I'm not carrying, my answer was usually the same, and it's you're not really hitting the pocket. You're hitting the 1-3 at some point, but just because you're clipping the 1-3 doesn't always mean you're hitting the pocket, or you're not hitting the pocket with the right angle. So you may think you were just sitting there blistering the pocket for 3 games, and you're really not.
Yeah.
So a lot of what Rich said is exactly what I was going to say. You're close. That's the good thing. You're right there, obviously. You're 199, and you've been there consistently for 2 years. But you got to make a couple changes. Something about entry angle, maybe the percentage you're actually hitting the pocket. I see a lot of guys that pound the head pin or they go high pocket, and they get lucky. They have very good carries. Somehow that angle and their ball speed and their rev rate doesn't leave them a lot of splits, and they're making their spares, but they're not hitting the pocket consistently enough to strike.
Think about your first ball average. So
Yeah.
if your first ball average is 9 or above, you're doing really well.
Sure.
You know, you want your average to be around 9 if you can. If it's lower, if it's 7, 8, you're not throwing a lot of strikes.
Yeah.
You know, so every time you have below 9, you're really taking more pins away. So,
You know, I've written a lot of articles too, Dustin, about the importance of hitting the pocket and how to make adjustments. And adjustments, some are physical game adjustments, some are playing the lanes properly. And a lot of times you think you're playing the lanes a certain way and you're maybe not. Maybe you see the lane differently with visualization. You might miss a couple of boards when you think you hit your target. So some of the things you can do when you practice with your teammates is to make sure you understand what board you're hitting, and also make sure you're consistent where you're sliding versus where you're standing. If your walk pattern, in this case, Brad, if you're drifting left or right inconsistently with your approach, and your swing path gets out of alignment a little bit, it's possible to hit your target from different angles.
Yeah.
And you'll get a different ball reaction, and you're not going to hit the pocket as often. So everything is integrated. However, it's important to realize the big picture. Hit the pocket as often as you can. You're going to make easy spares. You're going to get more doubles and turkeys, and your average will increase to 200.
And I'll give you one more thing that always helped me. Watch where the ball's going off the deck.
that's so important.
If you can see where your bowling ball is exiting the pin deck, it'll help you tremendously figure out what your angles are. If that ball is actually driving through the pocket, just because you're hitting the pocket, the ball could still exit over by the 9-pin. And we want to get that ball to come through. I mean, you're going to have to run the risk of leaving some stone 8s and stone 9s, which we see much more today with these bowling balls. But look at where the ball goes off the pin deck.
Not only that, if you're if your ball's barely clipping the 9-pin,
Yeah.
that gives you an idea of, okay, I need to move.
Yeah.
Even if you're still striking, okay, I need to adjust a little bit because the lanes are changing. So it can keep you ahead, and that's also going to.
I see a lot of people that watch the ball hit their mark, and they'll obviously look to see what their carry is, and then they turn around and they're walking back to the ball return, and the ball had just exited the deck, and there's no way they saw where that ball went off the pin deck. So watch that; it'll help you a lot.
Keep your eye on the ball, folks.
That's right.
All right, we have another question from YouTube. I'm sorry, this one is from YouTube. The question is, does one's PAP change when using different hand positions?
We can all say it together.
We could.
1, 2, 3. Yes. 100%. If you're moving your hand position in the ball, if you're trying to come around the ball a little more, if you're trying to stay under the ball, your PAP is going to change on the ball. It's not something you need to be overly concerned about. Like, when you're getting a ball drill, don't try and have your Pro Shop operator fudge your PAP because you're only going to use this ball when you're going to over-rotate your hand. You still use your PAP, but it does change slightly.
It doesn't change enough.
Most people don't vary their release enough to
much.
change it significantly, so I wouldn't get drill into that too deeply. If you're a bowler that likes to roll the ball end over end, a lot of forward roll where you have a very low axis tilt, you're even when you think you're rotating it, you're not going to get more than 20 degrees or something. And if you're a bowler that has a large rotation, like a Pete Weber or somebody that's not almost 90 degrees, if he calms it down a little bit, it's still going to have quite a bit of axis tilt.
No doubt.
So it doesn't vary that much, even with the top players. So once you get your ball set up and balanced, find a couple of favorite drilling patterns, and you can stick with those, and most of your balls will let the dynamics of the ball and the ball construction help you alter your ball motion slightly.
Yep.
Unless you're switching to a full roller in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't change that much, and like Rich said, with even the top players, I think the guy that I think does it the best, even still, is Norm Duke. I mean, I've seen that guy go off the corner, dead behind the ball on the right lane, and loop it on the left lane in the left gutter. So he's not changing layouts. His layouts are still based off his PAP because it doesn't change that much. Even though the ball motion is completely different, it doesn't change that much.
He does it with release technique and angles.
Yeah.
Just extremely talented. That's why he's a great Hall of Fame champion. But,
No doubt.
it gets your release consistent, your speed control, wherever speed you decide to throw it, as consistent as you can. And let the bowling balls and the lane condition work to help you. In most cases, you're going to bowl places where you don't have these extremely challenging lane conditions unless you get in a special tournament situation. So keep your ball surfaces prepared. I'd rather you be as consistent as possible, not worry about making too many major changes with your release. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
All right. Well, thank you for your questions. We will go into some ball releases. I will hit up. Go ahead. I'll let you hit up the front part of it. I'll pick up after this date.
All right. So on 7.5, we have 2 hammer releases. That's the Rebel and the Widow Spare. And from track, we have the Cyborg. That's on 7.5. On 7.12, we have Brunswick Mastermind Strategy and Fanatic, the Radical Guru Pearl Limited, and the DVA Grudge. And then on 7/19.
July 13th.
Oh, the 13th, yeah.
July 13th, Moto Forza GT.
You finish it out.
Oh, gosh. We got these all over the place. And then on July 19th, we have the Columbia 300 Sideswipe, the Ebonite Warrior Supreme. It looks like that's all there.
Yep.
August 9th, Brunswick Absolute Nirvana, Fanatic BTU, Radical Ridiculous Pearl and Xeno, and the Deviate Vandal Smash and Deviant Pearl. And then on 8/23,
Also on
8/9, the Hammer Dark Legend Solid and the Track Heat Extreme. We're not done yet.
Wow.
And then on 8/23, Columbia 300 Swerve GT, Ebonite Gamebreaker 2 Phenom. I think that's it.
Is that enough? Bowling balls?
I'm trying to
You
think
need
if
a
I
few
covered
more?
everyone. It really didn't cover
It did,
everyone.
yeah.
Pyramid will have some releases by then as well. We'll
Yeah.
talk about those later.
Yeah.
Anyway, check bowlingball.com for all the latest information on those. Ball videos, they're happening. You'll see them as soon as we get them posted. We'll make sure you know about it.
Let's talk about contests. Each week we give a bowling ball away on bowlingball.com. Just click the 52 weeks, 52 winners image on the right side of the page to register. And you do have to sign up every week.
And on bowlingboards.com, we also give away a ball every week. If you head over to bowlingboards.com, register, make at least one post per week to be entered, again, every week. So get in there and join in the conversation.
And hit up Pyramid Bowling. Pyramid Bowling. Hit up Pyramid Bowling on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Pyramid Bowling. And each week they give away either a ball or a bag or shoes or something really cool. So head on over there.
Right, and contact information.
Just a little quick point before the contact, Tony, if you don't mind.
I love it.
You know, we invite everyone to listen to this Talk Bowling episodes, but also subscribe to a newsletter if you're not already doing so, because you're going to get a lot of articles, a lot of information on technical information on these new ball releases as well. Yeah, there's obviously the benefit is when you're going to purchase a product from bowlingball.com
Right.
or Pyramid or something like that, you're going to get a deal because you save money, and that's the impetus behind the newsletters. But nevertheless, there's some useful information, and so get in the habit of checking the newsletters out.
For sure.
And it'll lead you to Bowlversity, where there's a lot of information. It's the world's largest video library, content library, and in the ball reaction videos as well. Just wanted to point that out.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, if you have a question for us, you can send us an email to questions@talkbowling.com. You can also reach us at facebook.com/talkbowling, Twitter @talkbowling, or leave a comment on talkbowling.com on any episode.
Last week's question of the week, and we're going to
We're
let
gonna give Rich a couple
answer
minutes for this one, yeah.
Who was the first PBA player to win the coveted Triple Crown of bowling?
Well, the answer to that is Billy Hardwick. Billy Hardwick was Bowler of the Year in 1963 and 1969. He won his first 17 tournaments on the tour without cashing, and then he figured it out. He threw a full roller. He was one of the most accurate players. Speed control and accuracy is what he would preach. And once he got it figured out on the tour, you couldn't stop him. The guy was knocking at the door to win every week for 10 straight years. And here's a little trivia for you. Billy was the first man to do a national commercial on TV. The first professional athlete to do a commercial advertising a product was for Miller Beer Company. 1969, he picked up the 6, 7, 10 on the commercial.
Wow.
Yeah, that's something that you'll probably never see again, but it's true.
Yeah.
And he passed away recently, and it's sad because he was one of the best persons I ever met. I miss Billy, and so rest his soul. Rest in peace, Billy.
Wonderful bowler.
Oh.
And he's friends with Rich. He had to be a good guy. And his son's pretty famous too, man.
Chris, oh, he's big time.
Doing okay, huh?
Yeah.
The question of the week this week, what was the name of the team professional bowling organization prior to the advent of the Professional Bowlers Association?
Rich knows that one
Rich
too. I'm
knows
sure
that
we'll
one
talk
too,
about that.
No doubt. All right, I think that does everything for this episode.
Yeah.
I'll close it out. Okay. Please remember that bowlingball.com is free shipping on every item every day. No hidden handling fees, no packaging fees, no added insurance fees, and no minimum purchase. The price shown is the price you pay at checkout. Bowlingball.com, it's where bowlers go.
Later.
Thank you.